When you're going off-roading, there is a lot that you need to think of. The type of car you're taking, where you're going, what you're going to need while you're going there, and so on. But there's one thing that is most important for depending on what you're doing, whether it's four-wheel driving, camping. There's one thing that is more important than everything that I've just listed, and that is the type of tires that you are going to be using on your vehicle. Now, you get a few different types: road terrain, mud terrain, and all-terrain. Let's break down what each of them is and what they're best used for and which one you need for your four-wheel drive. My name is Dale. Welcome to AdventureSparks. Hello everyone and welcome back to AdventureSparks. Now today, in this video, we are going to touch and elaborate on the different types of tires that you get in South Africa, as well as one that's a little less common in South Africa, but just for general knowledge for you guys to know. And of course, with the different tires, each one has a different thing that they are good for and what they are used for, and we're going to touch on what they're used for, what's good about them, and which brand to go for, or which is the better brand, pricings, as well as a lot of information about these tires. Now, the tires that we're going to be talking about is road tires or road terrains, all-terrain, and mud terrain. But lastly, the one that's a little bit less common in and around South Africa is winter terrains. So let's get into this video. Let's start off, when it comes to tires, about the sizing. What is the size of the tire, or how to distinguish the tire sizing? Well, let me break it down. So basically, if we have a look on my tires here on the side of my car, you'll see that there is numbering on the side, as well as what type of tire it is, whether it be all-terrain, road terrain, or mud terrain. Mine are all terrains. But what is the numbers? Well, basically, let's use the numbers 205 by 55 by R16s. Well, basically, the 205 is the width in millimeters, basically telling you the width of the tire. 55 would be your aspect ratio, the sidewall height percentage of the width. And then the R stands for radial, which is the rim diameter. So R16, the rim diameter is 16 inches. And then sometimes you'll even get another number, which will be, let's take 91H, for example. That is the load index, or the weight capacity, and maybe even the speed rating, the max speed on the tires. These markings are then normally found on the side of the tire, on the sidewall, and that then tells you everything you need to know about the tire's size, width, and radial, and even height or load rating, or even speed. But for the most part here in South Africa, your tire will normally be 205, 55, R16, well, in that format at least, to be able to explain it easily for you. Alright, we'll start off with road terrain. Now, road terrains are really good tires, but obviously, as their name stands, they are for roads, highways, paths that have been tarred, or with very minimal gravel. This is because they are very sleek. Their tread is very sleek, straight, with very narrow grooves in them, or spies. That is for the water evacuation and grip. Now, that grip is for on highway. You'll normally find these tires on your Kia Picantos, or your Toyota Tyres, Toyota Urban Cruisers, just to name a few cars, or even on some of your 4x4s like a Toyota Hilux or Ford Ranger, when you've bought them new from the shop, because that is the standard tire that they come out with. Now, as I said before, these are for road, for places where it's been tarred. And the reason for this is because their performance is more smooth, a quiet ride. They're more better for fuel efficiency, as well as being excellent on wet and dry road. That gives them very, very good grip. Their only weakness, when it comes to a tar or gravel road, they are really not the best. You'll find that you won't have the best traction, or that the car will be slipping quite a lot, the tires will be wheel spinning. You won't have the grip that you'll have, the same grip that you'll have with them on the road. When you're in the mud, you will get stuck very quickly, very easily, and to get out of the mud will be very, very difficult because the tires will just keep slipping as they don't have that grip. Now, with regards to pricing on road terrain or highway terrain tires, you can get yourself a decent set for a little bit more on the cheaper side because of them being highway tires. Now, they can start from anything from 1,500 Rand per tire and go all the way up to about 2,500, even 3,000 Rand per tire, depending on the size of tire you have. Now, moving on to our next tire, which is all-terrain. All-terrain tires are amazing tires and are best for sort of mixed driving, whether it be more on-road and a little bit off-road, or more off-road but a little bit on-road as well. Or even 50-50, they are the best for this type of stuff. For mixed driving, like daily commuting to and from work, and then the off-road adventure with mates or family on the weekends, it is the best for that. The tread is moderate, has a little bit of a versatile pattern, and more of void than road tires, but less than mud terrain. So you get a little bit more tread than road terrains, but a little less tread than what mud terrains get, which we'll get into later. The performance is a good balance of on-road comfort and off-road capability, and it can handle light mud, sand, and even sometimes snow. But obviously, if you're looking to do a lot more tedious driving, a lot more dirt roads, a lot more sand, and where you're going to be getting yourself stuck, obviously mud terrains are a little bit better. Also, all terrains have got, sometimes depending on the brand of tire, they've got a Kevlar sidewall, which will then help from the tires getting cut very easily, and it can handle a lot more than road terrains with the thorns that you might be driving over, sticks, sharp rocks. It can handle it a lot more and better than road terrains. The downside to all terrains, well, they're not as quiet or fuel efficient as road tires on the highway, and they maybe not as capable, or more times they are not as capable as mud terrains are in deep mud or deep sand situations. But all in all, they are amazing tires. Now, when it comes to pricing for all-terrain tires, they are a little bit more on the expensive side than road terrains. They will normally start at about 2,000 Rand per tire and can easily go up all the way to about 5,000, if not 6,000 Rand per all-terrain tire, depending on the brand you are getting, size, as well as what the type of tire is, whether you're getting the Kevlar sidewall or not. Moving on to mud terrains. They are the best tire for off-roading, but also the worst for on-road tires. They are best for like serious off-roading, rock climbing, deep mud, and extreme conditions, snow, sand. They are the best. The reason for this is because of their tread pattern. It is a very aggressive tread pattern, large, deep lugs with significant space or voids, and that is to be able to self-clean. As the tire moves and rolls, the mud falls off and falls out and cleans itself. But it is also then giving itself a lot more space for traction in and around the sand or whatever course you are driving. This also helps with the traction, that it won't slip and slide like the road terrains will. It will also slide a little bit less than all terrains, because all terrains won't slide as much as the road terrains because it's got more grip, but you might still find that you'll be losing traction on a little bit more serious obstacles than what the all terrains are rated for, whereas mud terrains can take on almost every obstacle that is thrown its way. Performance, they are superior in traction and extreme off-road scenarios, with very, very well reinforced sidewalls with very a thicker Kevlar sidewall to help with punctures or cuts or sharp rocks, sticks that you might be driving over that could pierce the tire. In some cases, people have reported that the tire can be self-healing, in the sense that when you put it out, the rubber just kind of goes back together and the leaking stops, depending on how big the puncture. The only weaknesses of this tire is that they are noisy, especially on road. They are very noisy. There's a lot of a rougher ride, and it has a very, very poor fuel economy. They have a lot less grip on wet pavement, and obviously if you're going to be driving a lot more on road, they are going to wear faster than any other tire due to the tread pattern and the tread being thicker. But off-road, they will handle the best. Now, they also look the best on the car, but depending on what you're going to be doing, looks are not always everything. Sometimes you need to maybe go with the tire that's going to suit you in order for it to help you with obviously your wallet, but also for what you're going to be doing. With regards to pricing of the mud terrain tires, they are the most expensive if you're looking at getting good brands. Now, they start from anything from 4,000, 5,000 Rand, and can go up all the way to 8,000 Rand depending on the brand that you are getting. This is because of the more tread that they have on them, the pattern, and the more rubber that they have on them. But all in all, they are the best tire for extreme off-roading. You've got a less likely chance of getting stuck or losing traction on these tires than anything else. The last tire that I'm going to speak about is winter terrains. Now, we don't really get winter terrains here in South Africa due to us not getting that much snow as places like Chicago in America. But the difference between winter terrains and all the other tires, winter terrains have got a softer compound and the rubber stays flexible in cold in the cold weather, increasing contact with the ground with the cold, wet or icy roads. Their tread pattern is also a lot different, looking a lot like this, and they've got the deeper tread and sipes, large grooves and tiny slits, and they have an improved safety for shorter braking and better handling in the wintering conditions. They are not really sold here in South Africa, as I said, due to us not having the wintry months that Chicago and America has, so I can't really give you pricing on these. But also, depending on the conditions, depending on where you're going, these are good tires. The last thing I want to talk about, which is also a key thing that you could look into for your 4x4, depending on what you're going to be doing, is the different types of rims you get. Now, you obviously have your stock standard rim that you get with the vehicle, which is what the tire obviously goes on. Those are good. They're for everyday driving, they're for normally road terrain and all-terrain tires, and can even be used for mud terrains. However, if you're going to be putting mud terrains in your car, you're obviously going to be going for more extreme 4x4 courses, more extreme mud courses and terrains. So then you should start looking at bead-locked rims, which look like this. Now, what makes bead-locked rims different to other rims is that a lot of time, if you're going to be doing courses in sand where you're going to be letting down your tire pressure, you have a chance of debeading the tire, which will look like this if you debead the tire, or popping the tire off the car completely. Now, this can cause serious damage to your tire, and not only that, but your rim as well. What bead-locked rims do is they have a space in between the rim and an extra piece of metal, which you put the tire in between and you clamp it shut and you bolt it shut, which then keeps the tire on when you lower the pressure. These then help a considerable amount when going on these extreme courses. So it is something to look into. However, if you're buying these bead-locked rims, it does get a little bit more on the pricey side. Well guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, please hit the subscribe button and like the video below. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of this year. So thank you all for watching, and if you guys keep a lookout for our next video, you will see that we go on amazing camping trips, and we have some laughs at some videos of other people's camping trips and see what fails happen in these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep that spark for adventure going, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.